Quintil, and welcome to your first curriculum day of the year. The focus of this one is Change for Life, which is our focus for the rest of the term. Now, in this activity, you're going to be thinking about mindfulness and how you can use mindfulness when completing art. So mindfulness is essentially being mindful, so being aware of how you're feeling, being aware of your emotions, and thinking about ways when you're particularly feeling stressed or worried or angry, ways and techniques to help you feel more grounded and help you essentially feel more calm. So feeling stressed, anxious, sad or angry from time to time are perfectly okay. There's nothing to be afraid or ashamed of. Everyone experiences these emotions, friends, parents, and even teachers. These feelings are unfortunately labelled as bad, but there's no such thing as a bad feeling or an emotion. Worries we have tend to come from our reaction to the emotional feeling. Now, mindfulness helps us to settle the mind. The mind is naturally scattered, and learning techniques, strategies can help us focus the mind and help us feel more settled and more calm and more able to focus on the things that we need to be focusing on. In turn, it can help us better understand our emotions and feelings. It can also help us not to get distracted by our thoughts. Practicing mindfulness can also have a really positive impact, not only on the way that how we feel, but also our mental well-being. So we're just going to watch this short video from Headspace on how to use visualization to help you when you're feeling this way.
To imagine a bright blue sky stretching off into the distance. Feels pretty good, right? This is a perfect metaphor for the mind, a blank canvas on which thoughts, feelings, and experiences appear. Okay, so maybe there are just a few clouds, but they tend not to bother us or distract us too much, especially if they're the cute little fluffy variety. This is how the mind appears when it's calm, bright, serene, and happy. But life isn't always easy. Sometimes there are a lot more clouds in the sky. Sometimes it might be the dark and stormy variety. Occasionally, we might even begin to wonder if a hurricane's on the way. It gets to the point that it's hard to think of anything else. In fact, sometimes we get so obsessed by the clouds that we forget about the blue sky altogether. But it's still there. Every time you're in a plane and you fly through the clouds, there it is, right? Without fail, blue sky. It's easy to forget that what we're looking for is already here. And that's why we need reminding.
So, what we're now going to do is we're now going to think about how we can use mindfulness through art. So, today what you're going to be doing is creating your own mandala. So we chose this activity because mandalas allow you to not only express yourself, but also kind of take your mind. It's that idea of taking your mind off what you're worrying or stressing about and focusing on something that's really creative. So what is a mandala? A mandala is a decorative picture which usually includes very complex designs. The designs, which include a range of patterns and symbols, start from a central point, so in the middle, and created in cyclical, so they're very symmetrical, so it's the same repeating pattern, decorated with lines and shapes and often recognizable. So this one looks like a flower. A mandala can have special meanings for the person who's created it. The designs are a representation of the soul, and therefore the images used reflect the person's innermost hopes, dreams, and sometimes worries. So these are really quite intricate ones, almost are like the way that they've designed them. They're almost 3D because they almost stand out from the page. The symbolism of the soul. The mandala can be seen as a tool to help self-awareness. By expressing yourself through the design of a mandala, you are sharing yourself with those who view it. It might even reflect your view of reality. So, here are some steps. I'm going to give you 2 tasks that you can choose to do. You can either do one of them or both of them. It's up to you. So the first one is creating a patterned mandala. So you will need a square piece of paper, plain paper, and mark a dot in the center. So for this activity, you will need to use your ruler to work out where the middle point of the page is. Next, use a ruler to measure and mark a dot at equal distances, horizontally, then vertically. For example, dots at 2 centimeter intervals. So for example, here's my dot in the middle, which I will have measured. So I will use my ruler and I'll measure and I'll put that in the center. Then I've got dots at 2 centimeter intervals going along the horizontal, so this line here across the page. And then I've got some dots going up and down the page as well. The next step is to repeat this process with 2 diagonal lines passing through the center point. So now you've got your vertical, your horizontal, and now your diagonal lines. So you've made a start in the middle of your page, and then you need to repeat the same process. So next, join up the dots, creating 3 circles, each one getting larger than the previous one. You might wish to use a curved edge to join the dots in a circle. So I was thinking, if I was going to do this activity at home, I'd use a plate or something, because the edge of a plate is a curved surface, so it would get you nice, so it will make sure that your circle's nice and complete. Alternatively, if you have got access to a compass at home, you could use that as well. An easier version of this would actually just to get a range of different circles, draw around the circles, and then draw the grid lines through the circle. So you could draw 3 circles, and then you could draw a horizontal and a vertical line, and then 2 diagonal lines through it. So that's an alternative if this seems a little bit too complicated for you. Think about what shapes, patterns, and symbols might represent the things which are important to you. So this is where our mindfulness techniques come in. So this is where you can think, if you're worried or stressed, then this is an opportunity to take yourself from your head and just focus on the creativity of this. So starting from the first small circle in the center, you start to create a pattern. You will notice that the pattern is very much symmetrical. So symmetrical means that it looks the same on both sides. So you can see they've got this circle in the middle, and then a flower around the outside as well. Then use a different pattern on the next circle, and so on. So you build up the pattern as you go. So it's like you've drawn a grid on the paper, and now you're building up your pattern. The second activity is to create a word mandala. So for this, you would need a plain piece of paper. In the middle of your plain piece of paper, write down, "I am grateful for," like you can see in this example here. Make it nice and clear. You could always use bubble writing and a felt tip pen if you have one of those at home. It doesn't need to be in black, it could be in any colour. And then you might want to put a little pattern, like so mandala pattern. So this person's used circles around the outside of it. Then around this, write down all the things you are grateful for. So for example, friends that make me laugh, a family that loves me, and this person has put mind, body and spirit, happiness, laughter, healing, strength, work, rest, play, health, food, water, memories. So around the outside, you write down statements. It's almost like, it looks a bit like the picture of the sun. So this is the centre of the sun, and then these are the rays coming off the sun. And then once you've written those things around the outside, use your pens or pencils to decorate your mandala. I hope you enjoy this activity. I know that certainly teachers will be having a go at these at home as well, and I can't wait to see the fantastic work that you're going to create. Enjoy.